tremendous looking trophy.
One on number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. Ho, 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 ho. My name's Bill Blight. Joining me as always, Ashley Hopley.
Hey John, excited to be here. Do you think the reason there's a massive PS5 shortage is because Santa and his elves ordered them all so they'd have them to be able to deliver on Christmas?
I thought he was about to say because they're slack C words. I won't say it because it's Merry Christmas week better. Yeah, either could be true. Sure, let's go with that. I was going to say the elves are lazy this year, but
no, because they don't want to infringe on Sony's copyright.
infringe on copyright. That is an interesting.
You think Sony wouldn't come after Santa?
There's always an interesting question with
IP.
Santa Claus. Like, are we saying that Santa Claus created the presents, or that he is literally creating black market knockoffs of products for kids? Yeah. Like, where's that movie?
It's interesting. It's
you know, like,
I think we're gonna write it.
are all these like third party video games that were like cheap PlayStation knockoffs, or were they actually created by Santa Claus because he didn't want to infringe on Sony's copyright?
Is Santa this leader of the free market, you know, or is he the evil person like stealing all these people's IPs and stuff?
Is he the hero we want, or is he the hero we deserve? I don't know. We need right now. Yeah.
I mean, in a perfect world, what happens is Santa's elves go out and steal all the consoles that people have been hoarding, and just replaces them with coal, and then delivers all those out.
That's a movie. Instead, we got that fucking Mel Gibson thing this year. You know, what was that called? Fat Santa.
Fat Man.
Fat Man. There. Fucking hell.
Don't worry, there was like 70, 80 different Christmas movies you could watch.
That's
instead,
true. There was at least a couple this year. All right. This week on the show, not much. It's Christmas week. Let's be real. Everyone's like, there's nothing happening. There's not much news happening. There's news, there's games, there's a couple things to talk about. Cyberpunk's still in trouble each and every week. It's a continuing thing. At this stage, the little bit of housekeeping we'll say at the start of the show. Next week's episode of Plat is the last one for the year. That will be the last one, and then
because there's no more year to go.
Well, that'll be the last one before we take 2 weeks off.
A week break. Yeah,
it'll be 2 weeks without Plat after that. So there you go. There's the thing. I'm not going to. I know in some previous years we've backed up episodes. No, don't. We got too many podcasts now. There's not the time to do that. Like, go listen to one of our other shows. Go
go to explosionnetwork.com. You can find all the different podcasts.
Yeah,
there. You know, just start from the first one on any of those feeds.
Yeah, go listen to all new Marvel cast over the holiday season. If you go listen to that new podcast we started.
Listen, go back and listen to early late nights. And laugh at how.
See, I was giving a good example. You're like, go listen to way dated news. Go listen to the most non-evergreen podcast where it's weekly-ish. Anyway,
go back and listen to Tales of Theldon, and then if we see a massive spike in numbers,
I mean, people are always listening to that show. Apparently,
I'm shrugging for audio listeners.
Yeah, people are always listening to that. Apparently, so. Anyway, they'll do it. So there's the housekeeping. Next week's the last week. This week, it's all about Santa Claus, or the couple things we've got to talk about. Firstly, I'd like to say that I have been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Finally, I mental blanked on the name, but that's fine. Finally been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I just want to tie it into Cyberpunk, because I want to say this. I've encountered 3 bugs so far, to the point that it made me go, man, this game's been out for like a month. How am I encountering like this many bugs? And then I had a random thought as that thought crossed my mind, where I was saying to myself, how am I encountering this many bugs? I went, I should be so lucky.
I want a refund.
Yeah. But I've had some couple weird bugs in that game. Firstly, I'm drunk all the time at the moment. I don't know if it's just going to fix itself, But anytime I fast travel
in the game. In the game.
In the game. Anytime I fast travel somewhere, or I like load a save, or I go sleep somewhere, my character is always waking up drunk, which isn't the end of the world because it just means that I have like wibbly wobbly screen for like the first 60 seconds when I enter a place. And I'm like, it's kind of annoying, but on the scheme of bugs, whatever. I don't know how I'm supposed to fix it.
I mean,
I'm not going to worry too much about it.
There could be story reasons.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess it makes sense, story reasons. But
someone is, when you're sleeping, pouring you alcohol.
It's possible. But then I'll also want to say, I encountered 2 like really nearly game-breaking bugs. One that's not game-breaking, but it would be devastating for someone who cares about trophies. And then I encountered another bug that was game-breaking, both of which had the most random fixes when I Googled how to fix them. So the first one, both of these really weird. The first one, so certain enemies around the world have these things called whelps or whatever you got to collect. They're basically like collectibles in the game, and they give you like cool items to upgrade your gear or whatever. Anyway, on the mini map, you have to collect the item off them for it to tick off that you've collected it, and you need that to happen so you can get 100% completion if you want to get all the trophies, right? Anyway, I killed an enemy. I collected the item off of them. It gave it to me. However, it didn't come up on the screen and say wealth collected or and it didn't mark it off on the map. And I was like, okay. So I like fast traveled away, fast traveled back, got drunk twice on the way, obviously. And then it's still there. So it's still on the minimap saying it's right there. And the body, the person I'd killed, had just spawned back into the middle of this barn. And it's just laying there dead. And I'm like, but I can't search the body. So I'm like, this is weird. So I travel all the way back to, like, because you can travel between England and Norway if you want to. So I'm like, all right, I'll fast travel to the Norway map. Like, I'll fast travel to a completely different map. And then I'll fast travel back to England. And then I got on my horse and I rode back to where the thing was. The body's still just lying in the barn. Like, I'm like, okay, well, this is a bit fucked. So I get on the old Google machine to see what people say if they've been encountering this bug. And apparently people on Reddit had been encountering this bug. And the one fix that someone had suggested, the only way to fix this, to get it to work, was they're like, you needed to get the perk that lets you set traps on bodies. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a bit annoying. So I had to respec all my skill points and then like purposely place them out so I could rush to get the skill that let me put traps on bodies. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then what you had to do is I put a trap on this body. I then carried it 5 minutes down the road, found a group of enemies that were just roaming around, placed it in the middle of the road, hid in a bush, waited for them to see the body, waited for them to then go up to it and cause the trap to explode. So then the body exploded in their face and the enemies got damaged. Save game, reload game, go back to the barn. The body had respawned there again. However, this time the person's now back alive. Kill them again. This time search their body. Get the collectible.
I mean, props to whoever figured that out.
I was like, how and what? This is literally someone who's obviously just at wit's end and just trying anything. Yeah.
I'm going to try and explode this body up again. See if that works.
Because, I mean, the first couple of things I did was I was just like trying to light the body on fire and like I threw it into a river. But every time I like fast travel back, it would just magically be back in the middle of the barn, just laying there. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. So I've had that happen twice now. Except for when it happened the second time, I was like, aha, I know what I need to do here.
Fix this.
I need to put a bomb on this body and go explode at people's faces. So that's a bit of a weird bug. However, now that I know how to fix it, I feel a little bit safer because that was going to fuck me off. It wasn't game breaking. It was like it would have been platinum breaking potentially, or like 100% completion breaking or whatever, which would have been obviously quite annoying. Second bug I encountered last night was game breaking. So I was like, oh, I'll just do this other little, I'll fast travel over here and I'll like go find a couple collectibles and then I'll wrap up my play session for the night. Go over there, do some things. I'm like, okay, well now I'll fast travel back to closer to where the next main mission is. So next time I start up the game, I'll be close to doing it. You know, I always do that fast. Do you do that in like open world games where you like want to make sure you end your play session close to like where you want to start next time? If you know what I mean? Like you like no? Okay.
I don't think that far ahead.
Okay, so I always like purposely travel close to the mission. So I'm like, next time I pick up the game, I know what I'm doing. Anyway. So I go to fast travel and it says on the map, can't fast travel now. I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird. So I like roam around a little bit, kill myself, like purposely set myself on fire or something to make it reload and whatnot. And then it purposely like, but it doesn't, when it loads me back in after I've died, it doesn't load me where I thought it would have auto-saved after collecting some of the collectibles. Instead, it loads back into the auto-save after I fast travel to that area to collect the collectibles. I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird. Maybe I'll save the game manually and then like quit out the whole game and load back in to see if that fixes it. Because it's still not letting me fast travel anyway. Go open the menu, go do manual save. It says you can't save now. I'm like, okay, so the game's telling me I can't manually save. It's not auto-saving anymore. And it's not letting me fast travel. Which basically means unless I plan on finishing the game in one session without ever closing it, it's seemingly never going to autosave, and I'll never be able to die because then my autosave wouldn't work. So currently the game is fucked. Get on the old Google machine. People are like, if you thought the last solution was a doozy. I've never had so many random like solutions to bugs. Someone's like, I see a thread on Reddit. People are like, this bug's fucked. Can't save. I've lost hours of my progression. Blah, 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 blah. One person comes in finally. They're like the hero walking into the room. They're like, don't worry, guys. I have the solution. What you need to do is you need to travel to your home, like the place where your Vikings have set up camp in England. You need to travel to that area. Now, if you've paid the money to set up the Assassin's Bureau building in your encampment, which I have, they're like, what you need to do is you need to stab all of the dummies outside of the building, and then it'll come up and say quest completed, even though you had no quest to do that, and it'll fix the bug. And I'm like, no way. That's ridiculous. So not to mention I'm ages away from the base now. And of course I can't fast travel. So I get on my horse. I do like a 10, 15 minute ride across fucking half the map to return home. Get there. There's 4 dummies outside the Assassin Bureau building. Behind all of them it says, because you can practice your stealth kills. So I stealth kill all these 4 dummies. Pops up, quest completed. Bug fixed.
Hooray.
Why? How? I don't know. The most and how does he figure that out? How does this person with the bug go like, this is once again someone at wit's end, literally just fucking around doing anything, randomly assassinates 4 dummies and is like, oh yeah, that fixed the bug. Makes no fucking sense. So just to even things out, with all the Cyberpunk's buggy mess, I wouldn't say Assassin's Creed is a unplayable mess. I would say it's got 2 really annoying bugs at the moment, both of which there are solutions for. They're solutions that don't really make sense though, but they're fun to do, I guess. You can feel better knowing that they're fixable. It's not going to completely brick your progress, but what a time I had last night playing the game. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and not to mention, both of these bugs are apparently the most rare the most rare to get weird ones. And I got both in one night. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on now. All right, so that's my assessment. Otherwise, I'm enjoying Assassin's Creed Valhalla, by the way. It's more Assassin's Creed. You're a Viking. My one big negative so far is remember they were promoting this game like it's a lot more of a tighter experience compared to Odyssey. Like we're taking it back. We're gonna make it shorter or whatever. No, they didn't make it shorter. It's just as fucking long. And they got rid of like all the side quests. Like in Odyssey, you'd have like a plethora of side quests at all point. They just hidden them. So now there's like these random world events, which in other games would just be mini optional quests. But these world events are basically just like hidden side quests that if you don't complete when you come across them, you'll lose where the fuck they're taking place. I'm like, there's too much game in this game. Just let's pull it back a bit. Cyberpunk was pulled off the PlayStation Store though, in case you didn't miss that this past week.
Yeah.
The latest dealio on this, as of recording, the word on the grapevine, is that PlayStation's pulled Cyberpunk off the store. They're now offering refunds, maybe. CD Projekt Red are offering refunds if you email them. Xbox is offering refunds through a certain page. PlayStation's no longer selling the game, obviously, for the store. Big W in Australia now has a sign up in stores where they've removed the game and they ask you to go see the counter staff to ask for it so they can warn you about how buggy it is before you buy it. And apparently now in GameStop in America is apparently now going to start offering refunds as well through a leaked internal memo, according to news story I saw this morning, which is a bigger deal because, as we talked about here before, that America and refunds, they apparently just don't like helping customers out at all. So compared to here, you can open a game. And return it JB Hi-Fi or EB or whatever, pretty much, as long as you come up with some decent excuse out of your ass and be like, fuck you, give me my money back. And I'll be like, all right. I'll ask you for a reason, but
I feel, that obviously you're not entitled to a refund. It's just that doing it in goodwill, so you will come back to that store.
Yeah. I mean, they don't want you to... It all comes down to the fact we got the Australian consumer ACCC or whatever here, I guess. And the second they tell someone no, then they go, that's the one person that'll send an email off to them and be like, hey, this store in this town said that I couldn't get a refund, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but if it's faulty, but if it's like, hey, I bought the wrong game.
Yeah.
You're kind of not really entitled to a refund, you know?
I mean, aren't you though? I mean,
no, you're not. It's only if it's like faulty and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Just so I can't imagine any store.
But of course they're going to give you a refund because they're not dicks and, you know, they want you to come back. So.
Yeah. So not
that important.
My big question is, have you even played any more Cyberpunk, and are you actually going to play more?
No, I haven't played anymore. I'm like, do I really? Again, both times I played and crashed after 2 hours, which apparently some people are thinking it's a feature to tell you to stop playing. Yeah. I think I'll probably just wait it out, see where the game is at March or whenever things are fully done.
Wait for the PS5 version?
Yeah, maybe. You know, I only paid like $57 because it was like Amazon or whatever. So I don't think I'm going to get a refund from Amazon. And I don't know what the trade-in value on this is. Probably not a lot. Because they're going to have a lot of copies, I suspect. It's going to be interesting. Are they places like EB and JB going to hold on to all these copies of Cyberpunk? Or are they going to try and get rid of them?
I would assume so, because if they fix the game by March, or if the PS5/Xbox Series X versions if they come out and everyone goes, they're good. These versions play fine. They look great. This is the one that everyone wanted. All of a sudden, all these pre-owned copies of Cyberpunk for current last-gen consoles that have free upgrades to the next-gen versions that you could buy for cheaper and then upgrade will be like people trying to do, find deals for themselves.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to reduce the price that much, though. purely try and make their money back at least.
Yeah, no, but
You know?
that's what I mean. Like, there's no way they could sell them for too cheap because
Yeah.
people would also someone out there would have to be smart enough at this stage to be like, I'll just buy up all of the cheap copies of Cyberpunk I see so I can sell it to suckers in a couple months' time when everyone's... Because you know what's going to happen in March.
I mean, that's assuming they do end up fixing it.
Well, yeah.
To a degree.
If they do end up fixing it, what'll end up happening though is everyone's going to forget this kind of happened. Like, or want to forget this ever happened.
Want to, yeah.
Yeah. They're going to try and make themselves try and forget it ever happened. So
well, apparently for 50% of people, it's not happening. So, you know.
For what?
All the people, 50% of people, PC players, or just diehard CD Projekt Red fans who they just don't want to believe it's actually happening.
Well, yeah. That's you can see that in the
did you see
Twitter replies.
Apparently the head of CD Projekt Red was liking a bunch of tweets of people saying other games should have were running much worse than
I saw the one I saw was he liked someone, at least the couple tweets of people being like replying to Sony going, oh, why'd you take this off the store? We should have taken like Fallout 76 off. It was more broken. And then he was liking these tweets.
I mean,
which is weirder.
That's a point.
Yeah, but it was weirder when the story then came out that apparently Sony didn't just pull the game off. They pulled it off after having a conversation with someone at CDPR and was like, hey, what's the deal? I think we're going to have to pull the game. So according to that story, it wasn't just Sony out of left field pulling the game off the store. No, it was after having a conversation.
There was a heads up, yeah.
It was a heads up, which means that him liking tweets is even weirder in that case, you know. But I mean, him liking tweets is just another example of...
Get an alt account. You know?
That dude needs to go, I swear. Like that's all I'm going to say. Like, I feel like at this stage... There's some people at CDPR that are making all the wrong choices for that company at this stage. So, and I think he's one of them. And nonetheless, all right, that's enough Cyberpunk for this week. There's your weekly Cyberpunk update. We got some brand new gameplay of Returnal finally through Housemarque Games YouTube. They've started up this series. This is the second episode. I completely didn't even know about this until this one, but the first one they put out was a month ago. It's called Housecast. Episode 1 was called Introduction, where they talk about the history of the developer and the games they put out, and you know everything from Super Stardust HD through to Resogun, and then they start talking a little bit about Returnal. Now in this episode 2 that posted, it was yesterday as of recording, so they talked to Harry Kruger, game director of Returnal, and he talks about developing the game, the stuff that's sort of inspired the game. Nothing like groundbreaking really as to it, but it does contain a bunch of new footage for Returnal in the video that we haven't seen before. So if you're salivating for some brand new Returnal gameplay, it's worth checking it out because it's a bunch of uncut gameplay throughout it. Well, not like huge bursts of uncut gameplay, but there are sections of uncut gameplay where we can see the gameplay happening and other sorts of things. Interestingly, he does touch on the fact that, you know, Housemarque, he's like, you know, Resogun had a story, quote unquote story, for people who cared to follow along with that. But obviously this is their first game where story is taking such a, you know, they've actually got a creative team for the first time at Housemarque. He talks about they've got an actual story team working on this game. Lots of horror inspirations, he says, for the game, which I don't think should come as too much of a shock given the trailer we've seen for it before, and then also, you know, just the moody setting, the dark vibes and all these sorts of things. But again, watching the gameplay for it, it literally just looks like any one of their voxel-based explosion arcade games, but just you're in a third person shooter now. Like it's just like. So as much as he wants, as much as like it's slightly a horror game, it's slightly this. I'm like, cool, maybe like story wise, but gameplay wise, this really just looks like a third person version of any one of your games. But really excited for it. Did you flick through this at all?
No, I didn't. But I think there's something I probably need to check out. I mean, Returnal is currently in the next big game, I think, off the top of my head. It's coming out March next year, so it's like the next big PS5 game, I guess.
Yeah. Unless something else gets magically...
Unless something else gets announced, or, there's going to be remasters and other things, or at least, and stuff from other studios, but obviously from Sony publishing, this is the next big one.
Yeah. And,
like, one of the few PS5 exclusives.
No
PS4 backwards compatibility.
Yes. And given how he talks about making sure that the game has heaps of explosions that the developer is known for, and you can see that in the gameplay. I can see quickly how if there's too many enemies in a room with all like the weapons and all these sorts of things, like it would just be too many particle effects for the PS4 to handle potentially. But a couple like takeaways I took from watching it is, other than the gameplay, which we've kind of seen before, there's a couple sections where the character's just walking around and they're interacting with potentially like collectibles and like scanning items in the environment. There's a mini map in the bottom right hand corner that seems very much like a roguelite mini map type thing, where it's like you're in room this, or like like you've come this far, because I guess that's kind of what the game's going to be, like a roguelite of some sort, because we know you doing the same thing over and over, so to a degree, and I guess your weapons upgrade. There's certain parts in the gameplay where they'll be like shooting a gun and it'll come up and say efficiency increased with the gun or whatever, so I guess it's a thing of the more you use a certain gun, the better you get it, and potentially you can upgrade it and whatever else. They don't really touch on this story, disappointingly, at all, which I kind of wish they touched on a little bit, because I'm still very confused as to what the hell the story is. It's just some woman in an astronaut suit who's crash landing over and over again and trying to escape something, and I don't know, it's very confusing.
I don't know. Why do you want more story? Why don't you just want to experience it?
Yeah. Just a little tease. Just give me a little tease is all I want. Just a little tease of something. So anyway, you can check that out. It's on Housemarque's YouTube channel. New series they're doing apparently. So look out for, I guess, more episodes in the lead up to Returnal's release. So that's pretty cool. Ghost of Tsushima got a new patch. Cool patch. Push Square writes, Ghost of Tsushima has another update which you can download now on PS4 and PS5 via backwards compatibility. Patch 1.18 fixes a number of minor bugs while also addressing a couple of potential issues brought up by those who enjoy the Legends multiplayer mode. For starters, Sucker Punch wants to make gathering allies for the raid easier. It also wants to negate the impact that missing players can have upon ongoing survival runs. The developer writes, quote, in order to address this feedback, we're adding new fill party options, which will offer the ability to set specific parameters when you're attempting to find other players. This new tool helps you fill out your gold and nightmare survival missions, nightmare story missions, and yes, all 3 chapters of the Tale of Io raid. It continues using these fill party options. You alone or with 1 to 2 party members in your party can search for players to complete this party of 4 based with your goals, blah, 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 blah. So they've added matchmaking to a raid, which is cool because basically anytime any game has a raid, Destiny, Division, they're always like, nah, can't do matchmaking. You need to have mics. Too hard. You need to be able to communicate. We don't want to encourage that shit. We don't want to encourage randoms playing together. So Sucker Punch just broke the 10. That's pretty cool.
Although they did say it could take a long time to get you.
Yeah, because I guess other people have to be also searching for like the specific level that you are, or like
the level
parameters
and the I'm assuming the character class or whatever,
Yeah.
and then the number of people in the party.
Yeah.
It's like you can't get party 3 match up with a party 2.
Yeah. So I guess it's better than nothing though. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they've added that. I'll say, by the way,
Good.
the other week I didn't jump back into Legends, but I did boot Ghost up to have a quick look at the
How good it looks.
Well, so, we got the 60 frames and all that now. Very smooth, plays great. I fucked around for the first time with the Kurosawa mode. I played for like half an hour of that on and was like, just kept stopping to do photo mode stuff. But I hated playing the game that way.
Okay.
It just, I found it distracting. Like, I don't know maybe if that's because I played through the whole game with color and everything, but I just found it weird to have to play that way. But it just made me want to take more photo mode stuff, which is cool, obviously. But I was like, no, I don't think I could play the entire game in this Kurosawa mode. It just feels a bit off. I don't know. But otherwise, that was cool. Also, there's like a new person. When you start the game, and you're like running across the field, like that's where the game starts. Like, it comes up the tile card, and all that sort of stuff. Like they've added the new merchant who they added with the new game plus. I thought you'd have to like search to find them, but no, the merchant's like literally right there in front of you. As soon as you start the game, I'm like, okay,
hey,
cool.
I know you're trying to escape and stuff, but do you want to buy some shit?
Basically, I was like, okay. Like they sell a bunch of new masks and whatever. I brought one thing off them.
These special flowers.
Yeah, new flowers. Which I had some. Or what? I don't know how or why, but I had some, and I brought something because then I got the one trophy for buying something. So I'm like, cool,
nice.
Because I did start on New Game Plus. Obviously, I don't know if I'll ever get time to go back and finish it, but I've started that New Game Plus run now for that trophy. But
it's good.
60 frames per second is very good, though. There you go. Might help Legends. I don't know. Oh, that's actually a good question. I assume Legends runs at 60 as well. I don't know. Interesting.
I would assume so. Can't imagine why it wouldn't.
No. Sometimes, yeah. Suppose it would have to. Jewel Shuckers writes, God of War and Uncharted remakes were being explored by PlayStation. Former PlayStation employee Michael Mumbawa. Could be either, I think. Talks about the idea of remakes for God of War and Uncharted. God of War received a remaster in 2018, and since then it has continuously been at the forefront of gamers' minds as one of the PlayStation... What? Oh, one of the best PlayStation games. I've missed a whole word there. Just, although we don't know a heck a lot about its next installment at this stage, we do know that the game plans to release next year on PS5, while God of War reveled in the spotlight of a remaster. The first 3 Uncharted games were ported straight to the PlayStation 4, and that was that. However, former Sony employee recently opened up about his experience working for a particular PlayStation studio and discussed that Uncharted 1 and God of War were in consideration for a remaster with a modern graphic engine. Michael Mumbawa, former head at Sony San Diego studio, was chatting to Twisted Metal for God of War director David Jaffe during Jaffe's most recent Gabbin plus Gaming segments. Sure. Throughout the conversation, him and Jaffe talked about different aspects of his role while an employee at Sony San Diego Studios and how his job oversaw him taking a visual arts group that provided support to other Sony game studios. But eventually, his role began to shift, which saw him move toward remakes and remasters. When asked by Jaffe if he could explain a little more detail, he replied, quote, remakes and remasters were the things I was chasing after, so that's why the dev team was built. What I can tell you is that what I was chasing, because I believe that there was value in doing something like a remake of God of War at the visual fidelity of today, or a remake of Uncharted 1. Even though Mumbawa is no longer working at the studio, the team in question still exists, which is comprised of around 200 people in total, and are currently working on an unannounced title. Whether the current team has indeed taken over Mumbawa's ideas, or the studio will release a new IP or even a sequel to some rumored to be Uncharted 5 remains to be seen. Do you reckon ever remaking, like if they had a remake Uncharted 1, that would have been a good use of time and
resources?
Resources?
No. I guess the remastered collection is not that old, I feel like. And the other thing is, I think everybody's got that game, that I think it would be a hard sell to get people to buy another edition of it, you know?
Yeah.
Unless they drastically change things or like super improved it. A lot of the best remasters we've seen over the last few years have been much older games. Or games that didn't necessarily get the sales at its start that its franchise subsequently got. Obviously, Demon's Souls, most obvious one, and then obviously all the Activision ones that we're redoing recently. I mean, you can't play those games really easily. So, I think it would be a hard sell getting Uncharted 1. God of War 1, that might be more realistic.
Well, I think they were just talking about, because they keep saying God of War 2018 remake. Basically, I think what they're saying is any idea of a remake turned out to be the reboot anyway. Like God of War got a reboot, not a remake. So, but maybe at one stage it was talk of remaking the franchise. But if you can't, Uncharted, I would agree. Like Uncharted, a remaster or whatever, a remake of the first game, don't need that. Seems highly unnecessary. You want to compare the other things that got, like, there are some things in the game that obviously are slightly dated, and I don't mean visuals. I mean, like, you could obviously overhaul, fix some of the
jet ski,
the shooting or the jet ski. Yeah, like there's certainly things that you could fix, but none of it's old or janky enough that it requires it. Like, if you want to compare that to Crash and Spyro, those games play like crap now, and they look like crap. So, like, they're not even close to.
If they did like a PS5 version of the Uncharted collection, like with 60 frames per second and ray tracing and stuff, that could work. But I don't think one individual game in that series, unfortunately, you could charge
I don't think
the amount of money you would think.
I don't think I'd even get excited for that. Like, if they were like, oh, a whole trip.
Yeah, that would be like a super niche selection.
I'd be like, okay.
Unless it was with something much like the Spider-Man remaster.
Yeah, like it's like, with Uncharted 5 or whatever the hell.
Or here's Lost Legacy 2.
Yeah.
With Uncharted remastered.
Because I think we've said before, like, we're both open to, like, at this stage, surely we're allowed to do Uncharted 4 spoilers, aren't we? Like, I'm making that ruling. I'm making that ruling now. If you haven't played Uncharted 4 by now, this is a PlayStation podcast. It's one of the best games, most loved games in the whole fucking franchise. On the platform, it came out 4 years ago or something like that now. If you haven't played it by now, I'm sorry. Fix that shit and fix up. Because Uncharted 4 is now moving into the official Platinum Explosion games of that are allowed to be spoiled at any and all stages.
Yeah.
Sorry.
2016 it came out.
Yeah, there you go.
It's crazy.
It's official, right? Spoilers from that game are officially open. Cans open. We're both open to them doing, like, if this potential Uncharted game is starring his daughter, like, that's an idea, right?
That is an idea.
Would that excite you? You'd be like, yeah, that sounds great. Well,
I mean, depends on the studio and what they're wanting to do. Obviously, I don't think if they were to do a game with the daughter taking place not long after the game started, it would be weird if she's like,
no, it has to be like
people.
10 years later, 10, 15 years later or something, wouldn't it? How old is she at the end of the game? She's like 12, 13 probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then is it too far forward?
What if they make Uncharted game? Uncharted, what if it, see, look, here's what I want. Next game is starring the daughter because she's taking after, him, like father, like daughter, or whatever, like mother. Yeah. She wants to go on these adventures, whatever else. But they kind of fix all of the faults of the previous franchise. and there's fuck all combat. And it's actually
I feel like
just
there is a lot of people who would not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if it's like a smaller title, then you could probably get away with it.
What? I don't know. Like, you don't reckon you could do a big action franchise without all the shooting and stuff? Uncharted game.
I don't think so.
You don't reckon you could just do set pieces that are like based on tombs and puzzles and...
You could. I don't think it'll have the same widespread pick. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't. My gut tells me no. You know? All the dude bros won't ruin my Uncharted. Uncharted was about shooting people and killing people. That's what the games were about. You know? But then you went and took... you got rid of Nate like 20 minutes into the game. It was ridiculous. Replaced with a girl. Terrible.
I mean,
you know?
in my mind, if they ever do this, you'd still have Nate in it, and you have like a cameo at the start or end or something. Like him and Elena would show up at the end or start or something as, you know, a little cameo or something like that. But I don't know. I think if they ever do it, and if it is something they're doing, I would hope they're actually just going to take a bold decision to try and, because the second they try and make if it's just Uncharted 5 starring his daughter and she shoots 100 million pirates in the game as well, straight away you'd be like,
this is weird.
Like, did she have
this
to?
This is Tomb Raider.
Did she have to do that? Like, yeah, like but they have that one scene like Tomb Raider where she gets all upset over killing one person, and then 10 seconds later you kill like 10 more dudes.
Yeah.
Cool. Cognitive dissonance. Yeah.
Yeah. The more I think about it, what I really want is like a Sully prequel.
You're getting that, the movie.
Set in like the
it's a movie.
Set in like the I guess 60s, I guess. You know, young Sully.
Young Sully. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the thing.
Young Sully adventures.
I feel like there's enough. I know some people roll their eyes at like continuing Uncharted or spin-offs and whatever. I do believe there's enough love for the different characters in that game that you could get away with doing a continuation with a young Sully or his daughter or something like that, and people would probably be happy.
Do an Elena game where she's just making documentaries.
Yeah. See, the reason I haven't mentioned Elena is because the second they're like, oh, Elena's now the star and she's shooting 100 million people, I'd be like, no, I can't. I really can't buy into this at this stage. You know, just be weird. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we'll find out soon. Because there is that team, the one that has been rumored to be working on Uncharted. Yeah, it's like maybe we'll find out next year. Who knows what the hell's going on? All right, let's run down.
There's no rush though.
No, I mean we got a God of War coming, we got a Rise coming, we got a Ratchet and Clank coming. I don't feel like I'm like drying out for PlayStation games, but at some stage, would like to know what they're doing, obviously. Let's run down PlayStation blogs, awards for this year. Unsurprisingly, Last of Us picks up most of them, but we'll see how it goes. In case you know, PlayStation blog every year does their winners, Game of the Year winner, and a couple other things. They're always voted on by the readers of the blog. So obviously, most of the time it's like PlayStation exclusives that win, or like it's if you're doing a PlayStation blog voted thing, you're gonna be getting the hardcore or the more PlayStation centric people voting. So let's run down. There's a couple interesting things in here outside the Last of Us stuff. Best narrative went to Last of Us Part 2. Best use of DualSense. I thought this one was funny. Astro's Playroom. The runner-ups were Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and Demon's Souls. But come on. Like, was there even...
Was it even close?
Was it even close? Yeah. It's like, come on. Best accessibility features, Last of Us Part 2. Best graphical showcase, Last of Us Part 2. Best art direction, Ghost of Tsushima. Best soundtrack, Last of Us Part 2. Best sound design, Last of Us Part 2. Best multiplayer, Call of Duty Warzone, with runner-ups going to Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Call of Duty's Black Ops Cold War, and Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Surprising Ghosts didn't pick up because once again PlayStation blog voting, but Call of Duty got the win. Best sports game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Best new character went to Miles Morales as Spider-Man, which I gotta say, is he though?
Yeah, he was in the first game.
The runner-ups.
Also, he's an established character.
Yeah, runner-ups were Jin Sakai, Ghosts, Abby, Last of Us Part 2, and Ivor, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. All of those.
All characters have been in any game before.
Yeah, all of those are brand new characters. Miles Morales, literally in the first game, of which this is a sequel / spin-off from. So I'm going to call bullshit. The text I have here says, while 2020 saw the introduction of an impressive roster of charismatic new characters to gaming, Miles Morales swung to the top of this particular poll. Yeah, but why? Why? How? Did he cheat? Fucking Jesus. Best independent.
Need a recount,
yeah. Mail-in votes,
all the legal votes
should not be... Best independent game went to Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Winner, chicken dinner. Come to PlayStation Plus, get the votes. Gaming moment of the year went to Last of Us Part 2 Final Showdown, which they say no spoilers here, but love a non-spoiler way to say it is not the end of the game, but the last fight you have in Last of Us Part 2 is what they mean by that.
Yeah, there's a scene in the theater.
No, is that what the characters?
I'm assuming that's what they're alluding to, right? No,
it's like the
the final
the
fight.
Final,
okay.
Yeah, yeah. The runner-ups were Ghost of Tsushima horseback title sequence. So obviously running through the field and
that's okay.
All that sort of stuff. Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, the bridge sequence.
Yeah.
So once again, it's okay, but Astro's Playroom.
I mean, it was spoiled by the trailers, so
yeah. Astro's Playroom experiencing haptics and adaptive triggers for the first time. Out of all the ones I got here, I feel like that should have been a lot higher than like horseback tile sequence. Come on now, it was okay. It's not game.
It's cool, but
it's not that good. Best PSVR experience went to Star Wars Squadrons, which was interesting because Marvel's Iron Man VR runner-up, Dreams runner-up, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners was the final runner-up, but Squadrons beat out all the first-party Sony PSVR stuff. PS4 Game of the Year went to The Last of Us Part 2, unsurprising. Runner-ups with Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and the PS5 Game of the Year was Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, with the runner-ups being Demon's Souls, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Astro's Playroom, and they love to do the most anticipated award too, which the winner of was new God of War title. Love that game. Cannot be more excited for new God of War title. Very excited.
Hope that's what the final title is.
I hope that's what the final title. I love how because it's a PlayStation blog, they can't write like God of War Valhalla or like presumed what it's like. Well, we presume that's what it's called. They're like,
God of War Ragnarok, yeah.
They don't even want, Ragnarok, sorry. But, they don't even fuck with it. They're like, new God of War title. Runner-ups.
Or God of War sequel. They couldn't have said God of War sequel.
Yeah, no.
Maybe it's not a sequel.
Maybe it's a prequel. Yeah, who knows? The runner-ups were Horizon Forbidden West, Resident Evil Village, and Final Fantasy 16. Studio of the Year, Naughty Dog. Runner-ups and some of that game, Sucker Punch, Square Enix. Top comment on the article. Pog.
What's Square Enix got?
What Square Enix got this year? Final Fantasy Online, Dragon Quest, Echoes of an Elusive Age. Here are Marvel's Avengers.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Studio of the Year.
But like, they're not. It isn't this. That's not the studio though.
No, I guess not.
Square Enix is a publisher.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what else they'd actually put out this shit. Let's see. Wikipedia. I got it. I'm gonna scroll to the bottom faster. Wikipedia. Final Fantasy. No. Babylon. No. Brett. No, that's not out. No, that's not out. Melody of Memory. Kingdom Hearts. Trials of Banner. Oh, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
How do we forget about that?
Just one of the best games of the year. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, completely forgot. Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Bit awkward, but there we go. Fix that.
Yeah.
Just edit that out. It's fine. No, I won't do that. Couldn't be bothered. Last piece of news for the week is that PSA, Fall Guys has a free costume, but I kind of just wanted to bring this up because they have but they put out this awesome video to announce this, and I was like, why? How? Why'd they do this? I don't know, but I love it. So Fall Guys literally made a live action advertisement. It's like live action with a CGI fall person
face.
Yeah, it's like this family is putting around Christmas presents, and then Fall Guys, like, of course, stumbles into it and fucks shit up. And then if we skip ahead to the end so you can get the whole story, he gets like quite sad. He gets like snowballs thrown at him. Stuff's not going too well. And then the whole family eventually invites the Fall Guy in, and they do a whole swapsies of presents. And it turns out that the family got the Fall Guy a Santa Claus outfit, and then he also got all the 4 members of the family Santa Claus outfits. And then this whole trailer is just to set up, hey, you can go into Fall Guys right now and get a free Santa Claus costume. And I'm like, why is this? This is an awesome promo trailer, but it seems like a lot of effort. I don't know. Like, they're really like, yeah, we're going to push Fall
There's
Guys.
a lot of effort, and they did it during a pandemic.
Yeah.
So filming that couldn't have been cheap.
Yeah, I know.
To do safely.
It does not look cheap. It's a great trailer, promo, whatever you want to call it. I loved it. I got a good giggle out of it. I thought it was kind of heartwarming. But at the same time, it's literally just to say, hey, get your free holiday costume in game now, available December 21st to the 25th. It's only available for a couple of days. I made sure to boot it up.
I guess also promote season 3.
Yeah,
which is winter themed.
I think more or less. I think this is them going, play our game while you're with your family on this holiday season. You fucks, play our game.
Play our game where one person can only play at a time. You know.
Yeah, but you take turns at Christmas or something. I guess you
could
throw the
talk shit.
Yeah, take the controller around the room or something. But
heckle. Yeah.
So you can get a Santa Claus outfit in Fall Guys. I logged it in before. You don't have to do anything. I think you just have to make sure you turn the game on, because when I turned it on, I went to my costumes and it was
there.
It was there. So turn Fall Guys on, get your costume. I think that's all you have to do. Did it, done it.
Yep. Also, I played a little bit of season 3. They've added some interesting games. So
I like. Yeah. What's the go?
So there's one where you like have to jump through holes, like and you get points depending on what color the hole is, you know? So like the rings.
I like the rings, but falling.
Rings? Yeah, no, because you run like down a track and it's like a big spinning wheel.
All right. And
it's got like different sized rings, different points, and you have to like get 15 points and you get through. Then it's like kind of like the slime level, but you run up a level and there's like a bunch of obstacles. There's a bunch more obstacle course ones. And they've introduced like flippy things and punchy fists and shit. So there's a bunch of new stuff in there. So if you haven't played it since like it first came out, it's worth going back in. And you can still, some of the medieval stuff is still in there. I've played some of those levels in there mixed in. So,
but you're getting mostly the winter stuff.
And I saw one of the final ones is like a rollout level. You know, the one on the like the cylinder where different parts are like spinning in different directions.
All right, yeah.
They've made that
a
like a final level.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you haven't got a crown in season 3 yet, though?
No, I haven't got a crown since season 1.
Okay. Did you play much on season 2, though?
Not really.
Yeah. I didn't even touch season 2, so we're gonna jump in. Season 3 is the one. Winter.
Yeah,
that's more interesting.
Winter.
Got to get in for this. Penguin outfits and stuff. That's what I'm all about. Although when I turn on the game, they're like, "Hey, there's 2 game modes." I'm like, "What?" I click on the other one. It's like, "Hey, just play this other game mode's Ninja's favorite modes." I'm like, "Why?
Oh yeah, you can get Ninja. I think they just did a Ninja skin because they did that thing earlier in the year where they were going to make skins of whoever gave them the most money.
Oh, okay.
It was like 6 different people who gave $1 million for charity.
Yeah. There is Ninja.
All getting put in the game.
There are Ninja skins in the store. I saw those. I was like,
yeah. So if you're a massive Ninja fan, you can play as him in Fortnite, and you can play him as in Fall Guys.
Just make it stop. All right, 10 towards wrapping up this episode. I got to run down 4. Here's 4 recent platinums, all of which you can get over Christmas break. They're not that hard. Firstly, the Pathless, great game. You should play the Pathless. Amazing game, beautiful, fun to play, awesome. Got a trophy guide up on the website, explosionhope.com. Link in the video description or podcast description, whatever. If you want to find that, there's only a couple trophies that may give you trouble. Otherwise, easy and great platinum. So I put that one. I'm ranking this list in like longest / most enjoyable plat through to Gem Smashers is one I did a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago. I did this entirely while watching like stuff at the same time. Took about 4 to 5 hours, I would say. It's basically like it's in the title. It's a gem smashing game. It's not particularly hard. However, was a perfect sort of while watching stuff. Just beating the level, because you got to beat the entire game. You have to play through it the entire game once, and then you've got to play through like the first couple levels with the other two characters, and that's basically it. So it was a decently enjoyable platinum, easy. If you enjoy gem smashing games, it's not a great one, but it's an okay one. So that was another platinum great recently, and then ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. Let me give to you 2 platinums you can get in less than 30 minutes. In less than 30 minutes, you can get both of these platinums. And I've done both of these recently. So the first one, A Winter's Daydream. It's 20-minute plat where all you have to do is press X. It is easier than My Name is Mayo. It is a...
like once?
Yeah. No, like consistently. It's because it's a visual novel game, but all you got to do is like finish it. So... like just kind of click play and then begin spam and X just to click through all that text. I actually think the story is about incest, but I don't know. I didn't whatever. You can read the story if you want. Obviously it'll take you longer than 20 minutes to get the plot then, but I just sat there and just, clicked X. You get the trophies popping, they pop, and off you go. That's all you need to do, press X. And then the last game is a 5-minute plat. It's another visual novel game. However, this one is a lot easier. This one, shorter, couple more choices you got to make. You got to make, like, you're on the settings. You got to make sure you turn it on so, like, auto skip all the choices. And then there's like, you gotta click different choices. There's different choices in this story. You can't just click through everything, or you can, but then when you start a new game, you can just click through different ones or however you want to do it. Nonetheless, it took about 5 minutes. So there's my Merry Christmas platinums for you all. Pathless is a great trophy to get. Gem Smash is an okay platinum to get. Winter's Dream, disgusting platinum, but you can eat that dirty whore plat. And then Autumn's Journey, there's another little plat for all you little fucking whores out there like myself. There you go. Suck that up. I'm trying to pad myself at the moment, so I'm getting close to 200. I'm gonna pad myself up to 200, and then like make sure my 200 is
pick something important.
Something about it. Yeah. Something about it. Yeah. I think I'm at 197 now. So early next year, I reckon is. January has to be the month for my 200 points. I don't know what I want it to be. I know Buddy Watson suggested I should make it Death Stranding, which isn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
So
what, you're at 196 at the moment, so...
Yeah. So, couple to go. I've got another couple dirty ones I could do if I wanted. There's also the fact I'm playing Assassin's Creed, which is probably a very long platinum, but I'm like, is it a long platinum or is the game just long? And then by the time I've fucking beaten it, the platinum is just close anyway. I don't know. We got some things, And then there's other games. There's other things like, oh no, like something I announced for early January. Could make it Hitman 3.
That's true.
I don't know if it doesn't need to be something special. It just needs to be something that's not shit. Because it'll show up on PSN profiles. Like on the side in like the little thing, it'll say like 200th platinum, 150th platinum. Like it has the milestones. I don't want it to be something shit. So anyway, that's it for this week's episode of Platinum Explosion. Once again, next week's episode is the last week. Don't know what we'll be talking about. Hope we'll be talking about something interesting. Maybe they'll announce state of play for Christmas.
Give us a Christmas
state of play. Yeah, maybe.
Come on, Sony.
Until then, though, you can email us if you want to say Merry Christmas. Mail at explosionnetwork.com, subject line Platinum Explosion. Follow all of our Twitters, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. And until next week.
Hey, if you want to give us an easy Christmas present, like leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
There you go.
Apple Podcasts.
That's good job. There you go. Good job.
5 stars, please.
5 stars. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. If you celebrate it, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas if you do. If not, I hope everyone has a great holidays. See you next week.
And stay safe.
Stay safe. Wash your hands. I don't know. Sneeze into your elbow.
That's important.
Bye. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com, and please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.